More controversies rage over China loans to Nigeria and the threat to Nigeria's sovereignty as House of Reps continue probe on the nation's borrowing policy under President Muhammadu Buhari. And three former governors, Emmanuel Uduaghan, James Ibori, and Orji Uzor Kalu, deny benefiting from NDDC project and reportedly leased in a document presented to the National Assembly by the Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Godswill Akpabio. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the program. This is Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloye in Lagos. Tonight, we're looking into the issues of how Nigeria, the loans collected by the Nigerian government under Buhari administration has been spent, and the threat that has been coming up about Nigeria's sovereignty. Can Nigeria lose its sovereignty to China because of these loans? These are some of the issues that have been raised. What are the implications? Should Nigeria not able to pay back these loans? Are we having more loans than we can bear? That is a conversation for tonight, everyone. So stay with us as we dissect that issue for you tonight. But let's get to some issues that are coming up also on the issue of NDDC. More reactions to the controversy on the award of contracts by the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC. This time, coming from three former governors, two of Delta State and Abia State. The Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has been reported to have listed the former Delta State governors, James Ibori and Emmanuel Uduaghan, and their Abia State counterpart, Orji Uzor Kalu, among those who benefited from the NDDC contract. In a statement today, the three former governors have denied involvement. The former Delta State Governor, Emmanuel Uduaghan, described the accusation as false, claiming that he has never approached the NDDC for any contract whatsoever. He asked members of the public to disregard a newspaper publication on the matter while urging Senator Akpabio to make a correction on the matter. According to him, the projects in question were his interventions for the communities as a private citizen before he became a senator. Well, Senator Kalu says the issues are at stake in the NDDC has to do with missing funds and not works done, adding that he is becoming worried over his name being used to sell newspapers without verifications. There are some of the reactions of these former governors on the controversies on NDDC award of contract. We'll take a look at some of the stories that we are following for you on our political roundup.
Governor Godwin Obaseki and the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, have today flagged off a statewide campaign tour, and they were warmly received by the Igara Traditional Rulers Council. The governor says he will consolidate on the economic fortunes he has put in place if given another term in office. The Deputy Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Mr. Yekini Diaye, has led 4 other State House legislators to declare support for the Edo State ABC governorship candidate, Pastor Sage Ize-Iyamu. The lawmakers are among the 10 that were inaugurated in July 2019, while 14 others are yet to take their oath. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has filed an additional 7-count charge against the former Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Mr. Mohammed Adoke, over alleged money laundering involving about 400 million naira. The trial of the ex-AGF, who was rearranged alongside an Abuja-based businessman, Mr. Aliyu Abubakar, before Justice Inyang Eko of the Federal High Court in Abuja on June 17, 2020, was expected to begin today, but was stalled due to the amended charges.
Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. It's no longer news, the efforts of the federal government in making sure that there is infrastructure in Nigeria. And this government has said that it cannot achieve all of this without borrowings and going outside of the country to also borrow. China is the third biggest lender to Nigeria. And some of the loans and the monies collected, the federal government had come to explain what they are using the monies for. Rail, for example, construction of highways and a host of other projects that the government has sent, rail being one of the biggest sectors that have benefited from the loans, according to the federal government of Nigeria. But the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, appeared before the House Committee looking into treaties and the loans that are being gotten by Nigeria, especially those of China, gotten from China, and the issue of the sovereignty clause in the $500 million Chinese railway loan. So let me break it down for you. So the agitation from some quarters is that should Nigeria not able to pay back the monies collected from China, China will seize or take over assets belonging to Nigeria. The issue of sovereignty is the issue of the fact that whether or not Nigeria can lose its power over some of these assets, or what is the power of Nigeria according to the monies owed to China. That is a big question here that a lot of people are asking. Did the federal government make a mistake in signing that agreement with China? What does that really entail? We'll break it down for you tonight. Let me allow you to listen to what transpired between the Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, and the House of Representatives, the lawmakers there who are probing this matter. Take a listen to it.
Can we be allowed to get this loan? Then you can summon us. Not to start what you're doing, and the whole process will then be stopped.
Honorable Minister, we want him to go straight to his question. The preamble is not needed.
No, sir. No, sir.
No, I'm coming, sir. I'm coming. Whether Nigeria reactions to such an issues in terms of loan agreement, because I've also seen from the Ministry of Communications when Nigerians sign off some certain level of his sovereignty, if part of the clauses in that agreement is breached. I've also seen. So when National Assembly reacts in this manner to questions on level of agreement being entered by any ministry of this country and any other nations, we have every right to question that, because anything that is going to happen will happen to our generation unborn.
Now, Mr. Chairman, in responding to him, I have said to you that my fear is that at the end of the day, some sections of this country will suffer if they stop giving us loan. Two more projects that will suffer. The first one is Lagos-Ibadan. Have we finished Lagos-Ibadan? They've not finished its crossing. We are asking for a loan to commence work from Ibadan to Kano. And the day they say, oh, the government is not supporting the loans people are taking, we are no longer giving you. That is the end of the project. I completely concede to you, Chairman, and to the House of your power to investigate, to oversight the executive. But in oversighting the executive, there's what is called national interest. Mr. Chairman, you don't suffer the pressure I suffer when I travel down east and I'm being told that we're not doing any railway in the east. Again, Mr. Chairman, the economy of this country can only be propelled by transportation. And the roads are not being completely fixed because there are too many. Therefore, the emphasis of the government is to fix the railways. So, no problems. I only sought approval that, look, we don't mind these investigations. Can we shift it to December, January, when we would have possibly gotten these loans? Once we get these loans, Chairman, turn me upside down, I will answer you.
So you heard that engagement, the fear about what these loans are for, what is happening with the federal government's handling. Let's hear from a senior advocate of Nigeria, Mr. Femi Falana, one of those who will think that something is fundamentally wrong. Mr. Femi Falana joins us now on the program. Thank you so much, senior advocate, for joining us on the program tonight. What is your immediate reaction? Has the federal government made a mistake in that treaty or in the agreement signed for that loan with China?
Well, I think it's important for us to examine the totality of the loan package. Whereas Nigeria is currently indebted to foreign countries and multilateral institutions to the tune of $79.3 billion. Out of the entire loan portfolio, the Chinese element, Chinese loans, total $3.1 billion.
We're having network issues there with Mr. Falana, but we'll come to you just in a moment. Let me go to our Abuja studio where we have the national chairman of the ADC, Alhaji Yabaji Sani. Thank you so much. You are Harvard-trained, Alhaji Sani, and development experts will tell you that, look, you cannot get a headway with major developmental projects without having to seek loans. Is it right for Nigeria to get loans? Some people will say, yes, it's right. But the manner in which the federal government has gone with some of these loans, is it right, especially the agreement with China?
Well, Sharon, like you rightly said, it's not the issue of taking loan that is people are worried about, but it's who are the custodians of this loan when we take this loan? Who do you give it to? Who are the managers of this loan? From available records, and even now as we speak, look at what is happening in NDDC. You have literally thieves that are in charge of the economy of this country. So when you take this loan, it's not the magnitude of the loan that people are questioning, but the management of the loan. Unfortunately, you don't have people that you can trust with anything, in this country. So this is the sad aspect of the whole thing. When you have total debt of, in 2019, our debt was just about $69 trillion. Now that's $69 billion, which is about 25 trillion naira. Now we are at 79, like the gentleman from Lagos was saying. About $79 billion loan. That's what portfolio Nigeria has today. And our revenue to debt ratio is worsening. It's about 99% in the first quarter. That means everything you earn was used to pay, to service debt. So the question is not really how much we are taking or whether or not we should take the loan. The question is the government you have in place, are they governing? Are they in charge? Is the government really, checking these things? Are they managing these resources in the right way that we're supposed to manage resources? Look at NNPC issue. There's in the papers that about 45 million barrels of crude oil, was stolen in the same China we're talking about. Then NNPC is denying. But the fact of the matter is that there is stolen crude in China. For a fact, let me tell you, I was working in one of the government ministries, and we introduced a system that changed the procedure of issuing license to crude oil exporters in this country. To our surprise, the first quarter we introduced that system, about 93 million barrels of crude oil was about to be stolen. It was intercepted, luckily. That case is still EFCC. 93 million barrels was to be stolen. Now we're talking about 45 million barrels. Somebody's telling me it's not true. It is true.
All right. So, Alhaji Sani, just a moment. I understand that we have Mr. Falana back with us. Mr. Falana, before that, the line went bad. You were saying, you were talking about the issue, the nature of our debt in the country under the Buhari government. Please continue. All right, let's take a breather. But when we come back, we dig more into these issues and how it affects the ordinary Nigerian on the street, the debt profile, our sovereignty. Are we losing it to China? That's the debate. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us right here on Channels Television. It's about the issues of Nigeria's debt profile, which is rising. In the last 8 years or 7 years, it's risen to almost 200%. And so under the Buhari government, there's been some fears about how these monies are spent and whether or not those things that were signed, the papers signed between Nigeria government and the nation's third biggest lender, China, what are the details of that? And that's what we're speaking to Mr. Femi Falana tonight and Alhaji Yabaji Sani. We've approached the federal government to speak on this matter and react to some of these issues raised We're yet to hear from them on this matter. Maybe they will get to talk to us and clear the air about some of these issues. Let's get back to the conversation, and perhaps I should let you know, these are some of the reactions we were getting also. A former Vice President, Atiku Abubakar, is been condemning the manner in which the federal government has gone about the loan. The APC has also replied, and let me show you what they're saying. The former vice president has criticized. He said, now we all are aware that Nigeria's sovereignty may have been traded for foreign loans, and God forbid our inability to service these loans, the lender country will take ownership of choice infrastructure on the Nigerian soil. Take a look at what the APC had to reply, trying to remind Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and the PDP about what happened under their government. This is their reply from the APC. So perhaps Atiku and the PDP could redirect their energies to explain it to Nigerians the status of the failed $460 million Abuja CCTV awarded in August 2010 by the immediate past PDP administration. Let's get back into the conversation. Mr. Femi Falana, I understand that we can hear him now. Mr. Falana, what is the hope of Nigeria in some of these that perhaps, is there any mistakes that have been made in the signature in the treaties?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, Nigerians must not allow the leaders of both the PDP and APC to confuse us as far as these loans are concerned. In the first place, do we really need these loans? If we husband our resources, do we need loans? Last year, I wrote a letter to the leadership of the National Assembly, setting out how the country could recover $105 billion, either diverted from the Federation account or withheld from that account. The Senate President wrote me a polite letter. Oh, we're on the same page, and we are going to ensure that these funds are recovered. Between then and now, not less than $32 billion have been approved as loans. Now, we have to understand that by virtue of Section 21 of the Debt Management Establishment Office Act, loans that are meant that are to be approved by the National Assembly, the National Assembly is required to study the terms and conditions attached to such loans. From the investigation going on in the House of Reps now, it does appear that these members of the National Assembly are just, their attention is just being drawn to a clause in the agreement, which has to do with the so-called trading off of the sovereignty of Nigeria. Again, this is meant to confuse Nigerians and mislead Nigerians. Nobody has traded off the sovereign rights of Nigerians. In every international agreement, commercial agreement, what that clause is a standard one. In other words, every nation has the sovereign right, sovereign immunity, not to be dragged to any court or arbitration. But if you are taking a loan, it is a standard agreement that if you default in the payment of the loan, you cannot invoke your sovereignty to prevent me from going to court or arbitration. No more, no less. It has nothing to do with trading off the sovereignty of Nigeria.
But Mr. Falana, a quick one. Sorry. Mr. Falana, a quick one. Let me ask you this. In that agreement, I'm being made to understand that usually in this kind of treaty, there is a third-party nation when you are having this kind of agreement. In this particular one, I understand that it's Hong Kong, which is on part of China, that is a third party here. Is that right?
No, we are being misled. We are being misled again. Now, what is the basis of this fixation? Fixation about Chinese loan, which is only $3.1 billion out of $79 billion loan. Why are we not talking about the remaining $76 billion, whose conditionalities are much worse than the Chinese loans that we are talking about? So why don't you look at the entire loan portfolio? Look at the conditions in each of them. For instance, some of the Western loans are to defect that the government should increase electricity tariffs, increase fuel price, and so on and so forth. The National Assembly members are not complaining about those multiple taxations dictated by Western imperialism. So the point I'm making, therefore, is that every country has the right to enter into agreement. And if you are going to enter into agreements in Nigeria, the National Assembly is required by law to look at the conditions and terms and make sure they are in the interest of Nigeria. The Ministry of Justice
Mr. Falana
has an international law department
Yeah.
that is supposed to scrutinize the terms and conditions of this agreement. If
All
we
right.
are being told now that people were negligent in the performance of their duties, there should be no shifting of blame here.
All right. So, Mr. Falana, just a moment. Let me get back to Alhaji Yabaji Sani. Alhaji Sani, one of the major issues for some of the lawmakers when they were asking the question, or for a lot of Nigerians also, is how can we service these loans? Do we have the capacity to do so? The projects that are being implemented by the federal government, whether or not these projects can service some of these loans, whether or not the question now is the viability of the projects in the face of the loans.
Yeah, Shehu, you know, the Murphy's Law is that whatever can go wrong will go wrong. I'm telling you. We will default on these loans because of the management of the resources that we have in this country. People will have at the helms of affairs. So this is why we are going to default. It's not because Nigeria is not capable or does not have the capacity, you know, to really service this loan or to even, you know, pay this loan within the shortest possible time. We have the resources. We have the capacity. We have the wherewithal. What we don't have is management of the resources because NNPC, that is the crude oil and gas, you know, sector, which is the main earner of the revenue for this country. It's mismanaged in the worst scenario case that you can ever think of. And today we are being told that nothing is happening, nothing has gone wrong in that sector. So this is why we are afraid that taking these jumbo loans is like signing away our sovereignty because these we will default if we go on the way we are going on. And it's enough. I mean, we were swindled for 16 years by PDP government. Here again, APC is taking us on a roller coaster. We don't know where we land in anyone's gates. So this is why Nigerians should wake up and then say and chase out these people that have no interest of this country at heart, you know, in any way that you can think of. So this is why some of us are afraid, and some of us are saying that the National Assembly should rise to the occasion and stop, you know, these wanton, reckless, you know, the debt profile that is rising, you know, by the day. 2019, it was about $69 billion. Between 2019 and now, about $10 billion have been added to that loan profile. They just signed another prepayment loan of about $1.5 billion between NNPC and our crude oil sellers. Right. You know, so it's on and on and on. We have not had a situation where you're having some of our money that is being held by these people being returned to us.
Thank you so much, Alhaji Yabaji Sani. Although about the NNPC and some of these stolen crude oil, Chief Abeba Balola has written about this, saying that it's just a scam. But let me get a final word tonight, and in 20 seconds from Mr. Femi Falana. Where do we go from here? You've cleared the air about the issue of sovereignty in the face of the treaty signed between China and Nigeria. Going forward, what lesson have we learned, and what should we be doing as a nation from these lessons?
Well, I think I want to agree with Alhaji Sani that the way we are going, if care is not taken, the government of the day will, like the PDP, trade off our rights as a nation, our integrity as a nation, through these reckless loans. And I'm saying, Sheung, if we manage our resources very well, we block all the loopholes or the leakages, we can save enough money to run the country. Let me just tell you one of the legal loans that have just been approved by the National Assembly. The National Assembly has approved about $5 billion to fund the budget of this year. Now, Section 41 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act provides that the government can only take loans for capital projects and human development, not for payment of jumbo salaries and allowances and acquisition of cars and the rest of them. So that is an illegal act. But for me, Nigerians are being woken up. They are being asked
explanation on some of these issues and the fears of experts that Nigeria may not go in the way of some African countries in the face of some of these loans. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I'm Seun Akinbaloye. Bye-bye.